Hey friends, welcome back to another video tutorial. My name is Fotini. You're visiting Fotini Stampin' Spot on my YouTube channel, and I have a really fun card to show you guys today. I can't wait. This is a really fun fold card called a tri-fold shutter card, and here is one example of it. So this was a demo that I made, and when it gets opened up, it has this really funky looking fold. So that's one card, and here's one more. It will definitely wow whoever you're giving it to. So we're going to be using the Designer Series paper from Delightful Daisy, as well as the Daisy Delight stamp set. And of course, we can't use this without using the coordinating punch. And of course, purchased together you save 10%, so definitely worth saving that 10%. So we're going to use a couple of stamps that I've already have ready. We're going to use the sunflower, the middle of the sunflower, and we're going to use these two pieces here for decorative, and we're going to use thank you. So I'm just basically making, I've made 3 of these cards already, all using different DSP sides. So I want to make one more so that I can give as a gift to someone, you know, like a nice little stack of cards. And this looks like a really hard card to make when somebody opens it, but it's super easy to do. So the first thing you need is a 12 by 12 paper cut at 5.5, keeping 12 on the one side and 5.5 straight down. So first we're going to score, and the scoring part is easy. On the long side, we're going to score at 2, 4, 8, and 10. So I'm using my Stampin' trimmer. Let me put this up so you guys can see. And I'm going to score at 2, 4, 8, and 10. So I'm going to extend my arm out, which is a great thing to have with the Stampin' trimmer. Not all trimmers have this extension. This goes past 14 inches. My previous trimmer, I couldn't even get to 5.5, and it was always such a pain because it ended like right there. So this is terrific. The other great thing about it, it has a cutting blade and a scoring blade. So we're going to push away my cutting blade for now. We're going to get my scoring blade ready. We're going to start it at 2. We're going to score, slide it at 4, score, slide it all the way down to 8, score, and then take it to 10, score. Now the cutting part is also easy. Again, people get all freaked out about it. It's really not that hard. We're going to line it up at 1.5, and we're going to take our cutting blade and we're going to line it up down here at the 10 mark. Let me get that where you can see too. So we're actually going to go from this bottom score line to the top score line. That's from 10 to 2. So we line up our paper, make sure it's straight, push down on our blade to make sure it pierces the paper, and go straight up and stop at 2. Then we're going to lift, move that over to 4 inches horizontally. Close our paper, push down at the 2 mark, and come all the way back down to 10. Okay? And that is really the base of the card. Now all the other pieces of cardstock I have cut out already, and I have them ready to go to save. So here are the assemblies. So we're going to have 2 pieces of DSP. You can use either side that you like. I like this side. These 2 pieces are cut at 1 7/8 by 5 3/8. Okay? Then we have 2 other pieces of DSP paper. Again, use whatever side you like to coordinate. We're going to use this old olive green. They would go right here. And those are cut at 1 3/8 by 3 7/8. Then I have 4 papers that are these 4 corner ones, and they are cut at 1 1/8 by 1 7/8. Then we have these 3 cardstock pieces, which is Calypso Coral cardstock, and they're going to go right here. The center piece is cut at 2 1/4 by 3 3/4, and then these 2 side pieces are cut at 2 1/4 by 1 3/4. And the only other piece of cardstock you're going to need is a piece of 2 3/4 inch circle cut with our layering circles, and a scrap of Whisper White because we're going to stamp and punch out the daisy. So how about we adhere all these, and then I'll show you how easy it is to burnish this all out. So just as we have them here, I'm going to just flip one out. And I'm going to take my snail, and we're just going to apply some adhesive. We're going to zip right through these. It's a really fun card to make. I actually got these dimensions from Sheila at the stampinwithus.com. Thank you, Sheila, for the instructions on your blog. It was very helpful, and her diagram was really good. So it was a breeze to recreate this card because it was so easy to follow Sheila's instructions. So thanks again, Sheila. You make the hard stuff look so easy. And it actually is easy. It really isn't anything difficult. So you can choose to use snail adhesive or like a Tombow glue if you like to kind of give yourself some wiggle room. The only things that we're not going to tape down just yet, we're going to stamp first, are going to be these Calypso coral pieces. And that's just because it'll be easier to stamp and then adhere. So let's get all these little pieces because there are a lot of them and they can make your work surface kind of crazy. Okay, so we got all that down. All right, so that's what it looks like now. So we're going to take these 3 pieces here and we're going to just push them to the side. I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper and we're just going to stamp our sentiment, thank you, and our 2 pieces for the decorative side. So the first thing that we're going to use is our Calypso coral. We're going to stamp Calypso coral onto Calypso coral and just give that really cool effect. I have on my block here the thank you sentiment, which is a really pretty, let's make it straight. It's a really pretty sentiment. So here's a tip. If you want to line up your stamps, if you have a grid paper or something, put it down, line it up, place your block on top. You'll always have it straight. So let's stamp into Calypso coral. Move these out of the way. Use my grid paper to help line it up, and we're just going to go right there. Okay, beautiful. So that piece is done. So we're going to stick that on. You don't really need a whole lot of embellishments because this paper is just so pretty and you want it to stand out. The next 2 pieces are these 2 pieces. They were cut, like I said, at 2 1/4 by 1 3/4. We're going to use this leaf or stem with these, I don't know, they're not really flowers, but I guess, I don't know what you would call them. I'm sure there's a term. Somebody who's really into botanicals will probably know the answer to that question. So I'm just going here, because I'm stamping off, I have my scratch paper underneath. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. And this is just to kind of create pretty much our own kind of DSP. I just didn't want it to be completely blank where it was there. And we're just going to do the same thing. And these line up, if you see there's 5 of them and they line up with the 5 stems. So it's a little tricky sometimes to get them like exactly where you need them to be. Just do your best. I don't worry too much about that stuff. I mean, it is a handmade card. You just got to try to get it as close. Who's going to inspect it with a fine magnifying glass? You know what I'm saying? If it's not lined up properly. I'm not that much of a stickler for that kind of thing, because it is just like a little floral decorative thing. So we do those. There you go. And we're going to stick these down. Super easy. So let's get this down here. Okay. Flip the other one. Now I have to say that this is the first card that I'm making where I haven't folded and burnished it yet. All my other cards I did that prior to adhering, and it actually seems a lot easier to just place everything down and then do the folds later. So I'm trying it this way for this card, and so far I like it. So now what we need is a piece of cardstock. So I have some Whisper White here, and I'm going to stamp my sunflower. Here's a tip: keep your petals on the center vertical so that when you stamp and then have to punch out, it's easy to line up, because as you can see, this lines up vertical, and it'll be much easier when it comes time for you to have to do that. So we want to punch out our flower, but we're going to stamp it. Let me just clean my stamp. We want to stamp it with Daffodil Delight, which is a color that's within this paper series. And we're going to stamp it twice because we're going to cut it out twice. So here we go here. I'm just going down to the edge, pushing down firmly. Do not rock it. Just push down and lift straight up. And here's another one. Okay, lift straight up. And then I have this centerpiece, and we're going to just dab that in to the Calypso Coral. We're going to line it right up. And don't worry if one comes out not so great, because it's going to get layered. Just push down firmly. That'll be our top layer. This will be our second layer at the bottom. So it doesn't matter. I always stamp the centers in because I figure if I screw up one, I could use the other one. Now to cut these out, like I said, if you'll just stamp it properly on the paper, cutting them out is a breeze. You just line it up, punch it out. Slide it over, line it up. You can partially clamp it down to see if you got it where you need it to be, because sometimes it is a little hard if you have a smaller piece of paper that you're working with. I'd recommend that you always have enough paper that you can maneuver with your hand. Too small, it's just too hard to get it in there. All right, so now we have, let's close these up. You don't get them everywhere. So we have the flowers ready to go, and you're going to see how super fast this is to assemble. So I'm just going to get that was my snail. So I'm just going to get a glue dot. I'm going to put it on the bottom of that top flower. I'm going to then layer it where it hits in between of the petals. Then I'm going to take a dimensional, flip this over, and put one right in the center. Then I'm going to grab my circle. That's what we're going to adhere the flower to. But because I don't want it completely flat, I'm going to take my bone folder, I'm going to put it up against the bottom and use my thumb and then pull that bone folder away from the center of the card, pushing down slightly with my finger, not to tear it, but just enough to give it a little bit of a bend. It just adds really a lot to the card. So we're going to take off the dimensional, and now it's actually going to stand like on its feet, on the edges. Line it up in the center where you want it to be, and then just push down, and then it's stuck. So like I said, we have everything adhered to already. So that's great. So what we want to do now is just kind of burnish these folds, right? We're going to make this one go this way. Okay, so you have one fold. So that front panel, push it in, and then we're going to just burnish, that gets burnished there. And we're going to take this one and push it out like that. Okay, and bring that over like that. So what we have then, when someone opens our card, they're all the same direction. It doesn't give us that crazy look that it gave the other one did. The trick is you have to take this middle panel and reverse it. So then burnish it the opposite direction. So as you can see, one pops forward, one goes in. Sorry about that. The two top and bottom layers are the opposite. It goes in with the valley and up at the mountain here. So it's just reversing the way the card will sit. So then when we close the card, almost like an accordion, you're going to have something like that. When we open the card, you see that the centerpiece pops up. These centerpieces pop up here. So what we're going to do then is, because I want to hide here what this is, I'm just going to take this here and I'm going to put half of it with some glue or my snail and adhere it down. Just half. So keep your card closed, line it up where you want it to be, and just push it down so that it gets there. And there you have it, everybody. A really cool tri-fold shutter card that will wow anybody who gets this great card for thank you. And I have 3, and I'm going to, this is the other one that matches the same paper. Actually, I have 4. I think I did another one. So that's 2 there. And let me see if I can find my 4th one. Can't find it at the moment, but nonetheless, you guys get the idea. And there are your pretty cards for today's quick tutorial. I hope you guys like this card. It's really easy to make. A quick thanks to Sheila at stampinwithus.com for the measurements and the inspiration on her blog. Thank you. And if you like this video and like to see more tutorials that I post, please just click like, leave a comment below, and hey, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to order any of the items below that we used today, the punch, the stamp set, here's the punch, here's the stamp set, and these are the pretty designer series papers, as well as any adhesive or materials that were used. Just check below. I have the description list listed below, the supply list, and that will take you right to my online shopping page at fotinichakudis.stampinup.net. And when you get there and you are ready to check out, don't forget to use the September host code. I have it below. That will allow you to check out, and I will know that you have ordered, and you'll get a special thank you from me in the mail. Special handmade card from me in the mail as a thank you for shopping with me. So there you go, my friends. Hope to see you guys next time. Hope everyone stays well until then, and see you on the next video. Thanks again. See you soon.